Hello and welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for CDEC.A Avengers facing off against iG.V. Game 2 action. We saw iG.V take a pretty convincing one in the first set off the back of some pretty wonderful plays. Good Razor in the mid lane, as well as a decent chunk of nice Void play also, as we're helping each other out there with the mics. But what are your thoughts here as we go into Game 2?
I hope the laning stage goes a bit better for Avengers because I think these teams in terms of individual skill and actual execution fights are very evenly matched, but that was just such a one-sided laning phase. At least based on that draft, like the chances of comeback were very slim. So
Yeah.
I want to see a closer game, but who knows what's going to happen.
Do you think just naturally picking better laners would kind of offset that, at least, like, not a Death Prophet, for example? We've seen so many failed Death Prophets, and it's like, it's a great hero. We see so much strength in the mid to late game. The exorcism damage is absurd, but we've seen so many teams fall flat on their face just from the mid lane alone.
I mean, you mentioned could have gotten the boots first, might have made a difference, but even, like, you should be able to get more CS just spamming your nuke to last hit creeps. Like, he had one CS at like 2-3 minutes, so I don't know. I think he just had a bad game. Death Prophet does seem to be losing her lane a lot, though, so maybe that's where, if teams are going to pick her, they need to invest more in setting the hero up for success early.
Play it like a Shadow Fiend. Just give it coverage.
Yeah, maybe get an Earthshaker or something like that. So anyway, I think we have Game 2 ready to go. Draft is underway. Let's check it out.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful transition on over, and this time around we are going to be seeing the Phoenix banned out, as well as that Night Stalker. Void is not going to be playing this game. Earth Spirit, as well as the Vengeful Spirit, Invoker, and now the Razor. So Invoker, a hero that was completely and totally gone last time around, and this time we're going to be seeing him here.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see that coming into play here. As far as lane strength, even when you get some static link against you, you're going to have a lot of bonus damage just from the 1 or 2 points in Exhort early on. But the banning phase, as we were saying, iG.Vitality, since they have second pick, that is the opportunity for essentially forcing the Earth Spirit a ban out. As they Vitality have to ban the Earth Spirit, or it's going to be in Avengers' hands or Event First hands, and the Night Stalker Void ban out. So this takes the 3 major pieces out of play, and it's going to mean something a bit different from iG.Vitality. Venge was a Phase 2 ban, so they don't mess around picking that one up, and they comboed up with the Razor, as they have done dozens of times in recent games.
So yeah, you were right, Gabe, about the Void ban. That was a big question mark, would they let it through? So good call there. And I do like the Invoker pick. This is a very self-sufficient hero in the mid lane. Really shouldn't need that much help. Razor's still not the easiest matchup, but with the damage you get from Alacrity, which it seems most Invokers are getting early on for the last hitting, you should still be able to CS quite well.
You know what I really want to see, but I don't think that we're going to see for a while. Maybe I'll try in pubs, is Invoker go in the Exort build, throw an Alacrity on the Tusk with the Shadow Blade, and then after the fact, you just go on in there and just like a one-hit punch somebody. Blaze is looking at me like I'm a crazy person, but it's like one of those sort of, maybe you one-hit punch somebody down if you get a decent amount of farm.
I don't know. I don't think you know how Alacrity works exactly, but
well,
like,
if you know, damage, it's good stuff, right?
yeah, but there's like a ton of different ways to get damage. You can have a Bloodseeker, give him some burst damage, but like Tusk is not that one punch man hero anymore. Like that, he doesn't do the hyper crits at low HP thresholds. He's just a good controller in the fights. I really like. Even in the dream pub scenario,
If you want to play like that, you got to play Carrier Shaker. That's the way to go.
that's legit.
Enchant Totem,
Armlet crit, Shadow Blade.
Shadow Blade,
That's
get
the
a
dream
crit.
right there. You know, I
Pray to your gods.
I did a little interviewee thing a little while ago, and they asked me what my favorite hero was to cast, and I put Crit Earthshaker because, god damn it, what else could you want from a game besides that? But we're in this one certainly not going to be seeing it this time around, as we do see the Zeus band as well as the Juggernaut, Medusa, and the Gyrocopter, so several of those just super strong heroes. So the matchup, I mean, we've sort of been skating around the issue. Do you think that Invoker is going to be able to handle the Razor well enough, or are we going to see another, 1 CS a minute type of deal?
It comes back to the lane contribution. I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as it was with the Death Prophet. I mean, that was just as bad as they can get. But although the Invoker can kind of hold his own in the solo lane matchup, I feel like we're going to see some contributions. We already saw a little bit of Spotty rotating with the Tusk and saying, okay, we need to play as a team. We need to make sure that these solo lanes aren't just getting out of hand. So I think proactivity there instead of reactivity, the idea that you have to assume your contribution is going to be necessary. So get your level 2 and immediately look for a play and an opportunity.
That's where getting a pretty self-sufficient safe laner would be nice. That there's flexibility to make that rotation.
Oh, that's great. PL is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, definitely matches up well against what Vitality have so far. Pretty single target focused. Lion has slight AoE, so does Razor, but they're not. I would not say by any means they're exceptional. I wonder if iG.V. I wonder what they're thinking here.
The other thing there also with the line is, unlike most illusion heroes, you don't care if you're mana burning one illusion away.
You just make a whole new army.
Yeah, it's devastating the way that he gets up on top of you. And I feel like with the Diffusal Blade right now also, this to me feels like it could be petrifying depending upon how quickly they end up going down here. And I don't know, this is a very scary hero at this point if he gets a decent amount of space and farm. And maybe that means that you're going to be able to open up a little bit more space for the Invoker because you have to rotate down to try and shut it down.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do that with the Terrorblade, though, right? Like, it's kind of similar issue. PL's a little bit better at getting away with the Doppelganger, but I feel like the iG.Vitality is just going to still look at the matchup the same way. If they press the Invoker hard enough, the PL doesn't get too big too quickly to be a problem. And Tide's going to be fine here. I mean, Kraken Shell, Anchor Smash, both great naturally against the Phantom Lancer. We could still see, like, Dazzle Heal Bombs. I think Dazzle's actually a huge pick here, but Tide is going to be able to do his own thing and maybe go for another Iron Talon.
Yeah, jungling Tide, question mark? Is that what we're going to be seeing this time?
Seems like Iron Talon's just core on every offlaner from the the games we've seen so far today.
Seems good.
I wonder if that's something, like, the thing that always happens with this is you get the really unique strategies in different metas within the regions, and then when it all converges in the Shanghai Major, which strategy is going to end up coming out on top? It feels to me like Iron Talon is incredibly good, and I don't know if that's something that would sort of translate well into the other regions, or maybe you see a couple of other regions that might be watching these late-night games try it out in their own drafts tomorrow.
Okay, so you're still talking about the qualifiers, though, right? Not the main event, because I feel like that's going to be a very different mentality going into that. You got like a 2-month span. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of time for a lot of the teams that didn't make it to Shanghai to essentially define the metagame.
You're on a roll here, Blaze. Dazzle now. It's a call, man.
Good picks, good heroes. I mean,
we don't need Winter.
Yeah,
you know.
Excellent. But 6.86 is actually pretty interesting because there's so many different ways you can take the draft. Yes, Venge Razor is no surprise to anybody here that's seen Vitality play a handful of games. But, like, when we get down to second phase, the synergies and counter synergies are actually going to be of really high importance. And obviously we've seen PL, Tusk, and Dazzle sync up really well with their abilities. And, yeah, it also counteracts the nuke coming in from heroes like Lion. And yeah, it's definitely the pick. Like, it screams high value.
And likewise, the iG.V van of the Broodmother, like, wanting to get rid of that heal bomb potential, that seems to make a good amount of sense. Even though they did have the Tidehunter, I don't know, it feels to me like that's still scary.
That is interesting. Yeah, normally Tide is considered, I would say, decent at dealing with Brood, not exceptional. But it does suggest they may be looking for a weaker safe laner who needs a little bit more help and time to grow up.
And along with that, like, you don't want to have to let the Brood dictate the lanes. Like, the Tidehunter is happy to be bottom against the PL. Like, he actually is very comfortable there. So he doesn't want to say, okay, well, if they pick Brood, I have to go safe lane, and then we put the Razor bottom, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, it shifts everything that you're planning. And I feel like playing into the lanes of CDEC is going to start iG.Vitality on the wrong foot.
So what do they want, then, for their safe laner? Terrorblade is still out there?
Yeah, Gyrocopter's already been banned on out of here, as has the Jug. So a lot of the early fighting capability heroes, the PL was sort of the main one that I felt like was kind of left over there. Wraith King is terrible. I don't know, I'm trying to think about other really safe lane heroes that are strong enough to stand up to what could be coming out here.
Go Rikimaru. Does the ulti even work on illusions anymore? I don't even know. Like, I know they took away the creeps, but
yeah, I'm not actually sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. That would be an interesting. I mean,
some of those GIFs were just brilliant, though.
Yeah,
I'm really sad they changed that.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, physical damage output. Gonna be able to put a lot of pressure on the Dazzle early on in the fights. Clinks is generally stronger this patch because of the new jungle. And I think that this fits very well into what we've seen so far from QD or Black Z. He's played Clinks, I think, 3 times now in the qualifier with this pick, And every time, he hasn't won every game, but he has always been relevant to the game.
Yeah, great against Dazzle, especially, I would say. Just forcing out the Grave or just sniping him instantly.
So one thing here, this is a lot of single target focus, and now you have to sort of, I feel like it places so much emphasis on Bobaca being able to get up a quick blink dagger and initiating the fights on the PL, because you have 2 targets that you need to be able to focus, the Tombstone and the PL, and Clinks can't obviously hit both of those. It really comes down to, I think, either a solid initiation by the Lion or just really godly ravages coming out from Tidehunter.
Yeah, I want to see how XXX does on the Tide before I'm worried too much about how dependent they are on the Lion. If Tide has actually a pretty good start and is able to withstand what Avenger are putting out in the safe lane, then I think that Vitality's overall like push and fight is going to be really strong. I mean, like you set the pace of it so well. You lead in with the Death Pact, get Clinks in position, and then you start pushing the tower. They either lose the tower or they get ravaged and then blown apart. So I feel like the fight and the way they're going to set up their fights is really strong for iG.V in the mid game, but that's only if Tide gets off the ground. So we'll look to see if he gets zoned out, if he gets killed off. And of course, Tusk Undying is also a duo that can create trouble for some heroes.
All right, CDEC making their way out into their jungle. Looks like the Avengers want to head towards the bottom rune, at least for now. 4 heroes grouped up, about to be 5. Pretty strong level 1 lineup overall, aside from the Invoker. Let's see if they're actually going to rumble. Ward gets planted down now by the Dire Squad, and they are going to get eyes on this, so both teams just chilling for the moment.
Looks like they'll just take top rune. The Clinks is already up that way, so there's not really any incentive to contest against Tusk Undying, really.
So is there a timer here if you're iG.V? Do you have to sort of worry about potentially, or sorry, excuse me, do you feel like there's a timer for them to be able to shut down this PL? Like, does he get out of hand?
I think it depends a bit on just the general farm levels. Like, a super farm Tidehunter, Razor, Clinks late game, they have enough AoE and just survivability that you imagine double ravaging the PL army. Like, his whole team's basically going to be dead, and then they can focus him down. But I would say they're not great against PL unless they have a lot of farm. So if they're a bit under-farmed or it's even going late game, the PL can really start to get out of hand.
Yeah. If you're talking really late game, you can also honestly consider a Lion Aghanim Scepter this game.
Oh,
the Figure of
that's
Death
a good idea.
is actually pretty huge.
Yeah, definitely. Well, coming on over at the very beginning with the Undying, giving away a little bit of damage here, but not the end of the world.
Thanks for the damage.
One takes life, the other takes attack damage. It works
okay,
out.
he's just going to miss uphill every time.
Jeez, he is. Okay.
Poor guy.
This is not Robin Hood.
And now the Tidehunter, no Iron Talon this time around. Instead opting for a little bit more of that regen, 1 Fairy Fire in tow, so keeping himself alive is going to be what he's prioritized on, as we do have 1 point in Quas, 1 in Exort, not really revealing a whole heck of a lot, as most Invokers want to be able to get that up for that regen. And so it looks like there's going to be a little bit of battle down here in the bottom lane. Tidehunter taking a bit more Fairy Fire, not going to be able to get the kill. Tanky as can be.
Meanwhile, they are also making a move on the mid lane, but not quite enough to get the kill.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to get him in Sunstrike range. They're going to, cancel the salve at least, so that's going to put the Razor below half HP, and he's going to be very uncomfortable here, actually. In the meantime, XSS pops the healing salve, so he's going to be back in active on the lane, but he's got to keep the tangos flowing, because this Dazzle actually can do some good damage against him, just with the physical damage over time and occasionally the burst heal.
I do like the fact that they tried to help secure the Invoker's lane a bit early on.
Very important.
First of all, it seems like maybe there's just a slight mismatch in their 1v1 laning to begin with, and then on top of that, Razor's a tough matchup, and after the way last game went, they definitely need him to have a better start.
It's like a psychology thing, too. Like, you just lost crazy hard to a Razor.
And you just got completely outplayed more than anything else.
So you don't want to put your mid in that position again. He's just going to tilt. So
exactly.
Set him up for success. It does give the Tide a wider berth because the Undying's nowhere to be found, but it's very important for the Invoker to get off to an okay start here.
So do you think it's worth it for Dazzle to go for a second point in Poison Touch here to keep up the harassment, or does he end up trying to save a hold of that one just in case there's need for a grave or something like that? Sometimes we've seen a second point, but it's pretty rare.
I've seen FY go for max Poison Touch once, and it actually worked out really well, but otherwise I don't think it's either 1 or 4. I really feel it's all or nothing. Like, some people can try to argue for the second point, but I think the other skills are just too valuable. And
I think the actually I can't recall exactly the mana change for Shadow Wave. If I think it's still the same at max rank, but I'm probably wrong on that.
I believe it's less of a 1-point wonder now.
Things still fairly static now as the Dazzle keeps on hunting, but mid lane taking a little bit of damage there away from the Invoker. They get the Cold Snap thrown out, but nothing really coming as Chen is still happy as can be. Currently the CS war is 11-6 versus the 9-5. Both offlaners getting just about everything. Not a huge disparity there. The main thing is, I guess, probably just the offlane. Tusk hasn't gotten any CS. Well, Tide's been able to get one. I guess that's pretty even too.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is Invoker is a very level-dependent mid, and constantly dual laning is going to hurt his level progression, so it is a bit of a trade-off, but you can already see he's actually getting farm this game, 13-8, and the Razor is not getting nearly as out of control, so seems like he does need the help. Iron Talon was picked up, Sunstrike on the mid lane, Deafening Blast even used here. Man, that's an unusual combo for this stage.
You know, I mentioned actually that I thought those were relatively even in terms of CS, but obviously for offlaners, big thing is levels. Tide level 3, Tusk level 1, no experience.
Should have gotten an Iron Talon, man.
Seriously. It's the end-all be-all offlane guarantee.
It's the new Mango.
It's like guaranteed level 6 or your money back. Like, it's just like they set you up for success. Shopkeeper, he's bringing in the bargains here. He's got his commercials rolling.
I don't think money back is a Valve move. Isn't it a real pain?
You get half your money back, you know.
Yeah.
It's like it's in fine print at the bottom. Your money back, but then they just say, oh, half of it after 10 seconds.
Yeah, Clix is having a great time. The main advantage I think we'll see for iG.V is because of the dual lane mid. Their supports can do a little bit more in the jungle, spend a little more time controlling the runes, and the Invoker is going to end up slightly underleveled because of the dual lane. But
Okay.
overall, pretty even start.
Definitely.
Mop packs.
Likes his sentry wards. I don't know.
I might have stepped away for a sec. Yeah, he really likes those sentries.
They were able to get the D ward, so you know it's worth talking about. That's the route.
Okay,
that
so
they
he's
took to walk
talking
up
about
there.
the fact that there are a lot of observer spots on the new cliff that
Okay.
you could actually have taken care of, but you're almost always going to see it in the same like 3 spots.
So Venge got a double stack there, right?
At least so.
Yeah.
I think she got both camps.
That feels so good when you're a support player. You just hop on in there, get the both of them.
What
wave
you gotta
of
do,
terror.
The triple stack?
Shadow Demon triple. That's
yeah.
what's.
I was
that's
just thinking the same thing.
Because like it's frustrating because there's a lot of times it'll fail. Like you only get 2 instead of 3.
But when you hit 3, you're like, the efficiency.
I am a god.
I used Shadow Poison at the right time and stood in the right interval for aggro.
That's hardcore right there. That's beautiful.
Yeah, look how much emphasis they're putting on just shutting down the Razor, camping out the runes, dual laning mid, even bringing the Tuscan. It's just a lot of respect for Chen, who is going for the rune bottom. He's going to commit for this one. He does get a DD. Even with that, he's still getting the runes.
Yeah. Well, and he's also stacking for his buddy here. This is not ancient stacks for Razor. It's ancient stacks for Tide.
Yeah,
so
that's super nice right there. I mean, because he's still able to sit in lane here and get towards that level 5, which is the big issue for Tide Hunters, being able to get enough to actually take the Ancients while stacking it. So
Just so much space for the rest of the team.
yeah. I wonder if it would have been worth it to
still
take the
level 1?
Razor.
That's a level
He's
1 Tusk.
still level
Yeah.
1, and nobody's even in the off lane. This is really bad, actually.
Oh,
In
God.
fact, he might be giving
yeah,
up a
there's a
kill
DD
now.
rune still.
Oh,
Nice
nice
shards.
shards.
Nice shards.
You only need one skill as
Still
Tusk.
almost dies.
Too
35.
freaking good. No. Oh,
What's he going to suicide to neutrals?
I wouldn't actually doubt it. Grab a TP award maybe.
7 minutes level 1. Actually, that's
Boboka Ravage.
the Earth Spike, the Chaos Meteor isn't a whole heck of a lot of damage. Nice Soul Rip.
What?
there,
Why?
keeping him
Why
alive.
Tombstone? Why
Oh
Tombstone?
my god.
That's money.
He popped the Fairy Fire, and now the Dazzle even rotates him with the level 1 poison. So trying to go to work. Are they going to feed the Razor? So close. Not quite.
Oh, this has not been the best start so far, and I think
So
the
they
offlaners.
They
is-
invest all of that in the mid lane. They feed a Tombstone. They give up First Blood. Invoker almost dies. They had to pop a Fairy Fire there. Nice Sunstrike attempt, but not quite enough for Boboka. And all the while, Clinks is just in his own little world top lane. Look
Oh.
at Venge, by the way. 14 CS on a support Venge. This is, again, you're just seeing the impact of the Razor performance from last game in this one.
We're also seeing a 2v1, a level 7 Clinks versus a level 1 Tusk. Who wants to play that RPG?
Sounds good.
It really goes back to, again, just the complete and total lane dominance here. And, you know, I thought that the Invoker pick was going to end up working out better, and by all accounts it has. The problem is it's still not coming online quick enough, and now their offlane is that much more hurt because of it. Like, it feels to me that he can't really get a break here, and I'm not sure if it's a draft thing or if it just feels like Avengers don't have what it takes to lane up against iG.V.
You know, they go on to lose this game. Maybe they're thinking we should be banning Razor versus this team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough ban, though. Like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of heroes that are very similar to Razor, and I don't think it's their biggest problem. Like, they have to figure out what they're doing with this Tusk. Like, he seemed a little bit, like, indecisive in game 1, where, like, he had a spot to be on the map, and then he changed his mind. Here, it doesn't seem like he's had a place to call home since the game began.
And the feeding begins.
We've seen this Pokemon battle before, okay? You literally just got the ball off the table, you go outside, and a level 20 hero just beats the crap out of you. Like, I don't know.
That was a Charizard killing a Rattata.
Exactly.
It's like when you go back to Pallet
Fire
Town.
Blast.
You know when you return to Pallet Town because you can swim south of the town later on in the game.
Yeah.
With Surf. Yeah, those Rattatatas are no match, man.
Seafoam
What if it's in the top
Islands?
10%?
Even then.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is looking really rough right now. And, I mean, Tusk would love to be able... The problem is that these are not really safe anywhere. I think that probably the best option would be trying to, like, stack on up and be able to sit around as stacks are being taken by the PL. But, again, it doesn't feel like they're going to be able to make enough space
They
for him.
have to give him some experience, though. That hero needs levels really badly.
Seeing Black Z go for the double Fairy Fire again on the Clinks. We talked about it before, but it's a little odd. But like he has a guaranteed landing phase. Soul Ring, double Fairy Fire. He's just gonna man up hard.
God. And the other thing is also the Undying. Like, the Undying is so underfarmed right now. The bottom 3 are the Tusk, the Dazzle, and the Undying. So, like, that's a hero that can't really come back from behind either. He's got levels, level 3 Tombstone, but I don't know if they're going to be in a position where they can fight in a 5-on-5 engagement.
Yeah, look at Clinks here. He actually just gonna go ahead and jungle, use his ultimate on the big Centaur, and that might be a dead Tusk. Like, he can 3-shot, 4-shot.
Looking for the opening right now, just off to the side. They are
No,
going to snowball.
no.
Oh, God. This is going to get ugly real quickly. Invoker immediately first to turn tail and run. Already down. Spotty could well be next. One more arrow. Barely kept alive by the Undying. He's just going to turn on the Undying instead and also kills him off.
Jeez.
A double, nearly a triple. They even forced the PL rotation to no avail.
God, QD.
Space created.
What a freaking player right there. And he's already a good deal of the way towards his Deso, too. Only about 800 gold away from finishing that one off, roughly. Like, this is going to be such a scary couple of minutes.
Does have the grape ready.
Okay. So, I feel like right now, Clinks is just the perfect carry to punish these low-level supports. Like, I didn't really feel like Clinks was that amazing of a pick in the draft itself. Yay, negative armor synergy. But it's like...
But the way the game's developed.
The fact that Tusk has been completely out of lane, has no levels. They have a Sentry Ward, and the Ops combo, so they see this Clinks this time, but they don't even have a good response. So, like, he's able to freely move, because unless he's cold snapped under Tombstone, he's not going to get picked. And then he has so many easy kill targets.
The other thing here is the danger of him, too. You see all 5 heroes there sitting around those 2 camps on the side of Avengers. Meanwhile, everybody's spread out across the map. Lion is getting solo EXP. You've got the Razor who's going to be able to go freely over for runes and take the mid tower. Like, it's all bad, and there's no way to punish it.
Yeah.
As soon as they see him, they spread out again, but at that point, they've been ineffectual the whole time.
And they also got some good wards down, so Avengers starting to feel the heat are going to smoke. Looking for a move bottom, perhaps. Let's see if they can get anyone. They really need a kill at this point.
But they're walking to Ravage at this point. Like, they don't have the wherewithal.
I think they're hoping for the solo pick, but that may not be easy to find. Is Spotty Smoke not going to break? September, they start to march in, but the stun is there off the bat. Fingers available. Say goodbye to your Undying. And with that, probably any hope of winning a team fight. The Ravage connecting now on to 2. Flyby barely dodging it, but Victoria has to run as quickly as possible. 2 more arrows, almost enough to chunk him down just like that. Lion casually monitoring on the backlines. Bobo-Khan getting ready for an additional volley as the TP's out. Will come. Victoria trying to escape in time. Venge stun just a split second late. They do manage to get off the Hex on Flyby. Do they have a follow-up stun from Bobo-Khan? No mana for it. Just now got it. Bit too late.
God, walking into that Ravage was just like looking at a train wreck. I couldn't turn my eyes away. It was so devastating. And 0-7 start right now, 13 minutes, and I don't know how they get back into this game. I don't feel like they have...
Clinks has his Deso, I think, or at least the second hammer.
Swap, not going to come out in time, so the Undying walks away. But yeah, I mean the Clinks is just massive at this point. They're going to try to go for something here. They do have Dust, but...
That's a 13-minute Deso. That might be a record.
What? What's that?
Wow.
Jeez.
Nice armor, bro.
1, 2. He
almost 2 shots. Nice armor.
almost 2 shots.
With Wave of Terror, it would be a 2-shot. Nice
GG?
armor, bro.
I mean, they're literally. What do you do at this point?
Look at the tower fall, too. It's just everything going wrong right now. There's nothing going good for Avengers. The best thing that they have is a PL right now, who basically is just on those basic items.
Lion has a blink.
He was farming top. Well, Ty was Ancients, Clinks was killing everyone, and Lion was in farming.
Key phrase there. Clinks was killing everyone. Again, so much of this comes back to the Tusk and the early laning play, and again, I still feel the Razor's impact from last game has a lot of follow through to this one. They put a lot of emphasis on securing the Invoker's farm. We haven't really seen much out of it. We've seen one Sunstrike that was decent, but wasn't enough for a kill. And even if he gets that kill, like to me, they just committed so much to that mid lane. They have to get more out of it. And you can't have a Tusk who's level 1 at, 8-9 minutes into the game. Ooh. Fastest Deso ever. Thank you, K-Poptosis. On Clinks.
Yeah.
On Clinks.
That's fair. But even still, like, I mean,
and he didn't rush it, remember.
Yeah.
He got Aquila, he got Soul Ring, he got Treads.
2 Fairy Fires.
And 2 Fairy Fires. And he was ganking. He wasn't just purely farming away either.
So the other thing that stands out to me again is just the doubling down on how strong these lanes were. With a Lion and Avenge, Tusk, while he is generally going to be able to get a decent amount. Oh, God, never mind. We got a team fight, and I believe that Avengers are all going to die.
Nice snowball! Is this the turn? Can they even fight regardless? Spotty now trying to run away. September's going to march his way into this, but here comes the cleanup crew. Clinks just chunking them all down. One by one, they will fall. Flyby trying to hang on. He gets the lance off. Just only going to take a couple of auto attacks here as the damage is stolen. He's low. Victoria with the TP out. Will manage to make it away, but not able to save his carry. So in the end, it's 4 dead. They snowball dodge a Ravage, and they still get completely wrecked.
They got a kill.
They did.
They have a kill. The dream is real.
Don't worry, guys. We did it.
Lion has been defeated.
Despite the
Report
fact he got
Lion,
his blink.
please.
Jeez.
What a scrub.
Oh, my, oh, my. Yeah, but, like, the lanes, like, Razor's going to be fine there. How do you walk up to the lane with a Clinks throwing out the flaming arrows at you, and then you've also got 3 stuns? It's just so scary.
You just got to dodge everything with Snowball, man.
Well, and he took shards first, too. So that's the other
The thing
issue.
is, they tried to run stronger lanes this game overall, but it just seemed like the way that the levels were distributed left them in a terrible hole later on. Blink in. There's the stun to start things off. Finger is available, and yep, just gonna quickly delete Spotty. Now looking for a bit more. Hex comes through on Victoria as the chase is following through, and almost one-shots him. Oh my God.
The grave is shallow indeed. Jeez, this is just brutal. They don't even have a chance to dig the grave before they're already put in it.
And that's a dead Invoker. 2. Oh, barely Ghost Walks. If he didn't already have it ready to go, he's probably toast there.
Yeah, you got Chrysalis up. You've got
He
9K.
almost 2-shots an Invoker. Like that's your core that you were protecting all game mid.
Who's below the offlaner now and almost below the support Lion. It's not been a good game right now. I mean, that's probably the biggest understatement so far of this tournament, but it's just deadly. And when you let a Clinks get this out of control, he's one of those glass cannon heroes. Like right now, you want to be able to get a couple of items up on these supports too. You want to be able to get something to make the Undying tanky. You want to get something to be able to make the Tusk have a bit more survivability. And there's just no way to make it happen because you have to get the sentries. You have to be able to get that vision for him.
There's no easy response right now. There's guarding.
Diffusal Blade is pretty big here.
Yeah, it is.
I would say. Makes the PL a lot scarier, but at this stage, the illusions are so flimsy, and he went for the BOT's build, which leaves them even lower HP, so there's no guarantees that that illusion army will get to auto attack in fights, but it's probably their best shot now to fight around it.
Wonder how an Orchid would have done this time on Clinks.
Deso's the build nowadays.
After the Deso to be able to...
So the crit, okay. I can see just because of how damn fast it would be. Like, yeah. I would argue that that's almost never the build.
Right.
But in this game, like, you have so much gold.
Killing the PL potentially also.
Well, he's got the defuse now.
Right now,
so.
exactly.
I think more likely you'd get like a BKB if anything.
I mean, honestly, he can get whatever he wants.
If you want more utility, you can even just go for a Hex. Like he's owning that hard, he could just rush a Hex.
Oh.
This could be the opportunity though. They are going to find Chen. The meatball comes out right away with the Deafening Blast. Massive commitment here. Can they get the kill in time? Benj is arriving. The Ravages from Boboka. Now the real Ravage comes through onto 3, blasting them off the map. They do manage to grab the Razor, but was it worth it? Doesn't seem like it. Boboka looking for more.
3-2-2 the dream.
Yeah, they got a couple of dreams.
We are definitely closing in on one of the dreams. Not sure which just yet.
Can you imagine them getting 2 kills at this point? I cannot, unfortunately. So I'll go with the 322. It's a little more plausible. If the Tide had even TP'd before his allies, then the Guardian Greaves would have come out and the Razor wouldn't have even died.
Razor wouldn't have even died, yeah. 2 minutes on the Aegis.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Diffusal Blade is a really big deal because against Anchor Smash, the illusions and the PL himself really don't do any damage at all, but the Diffusal Blade, it won't be mitigated by that.
You still get the Mana Burst damage.
That's going to be something.
But again, it's just, they have enough AoE, and those illusions are so squishy that he's got to find a way into the fight after the big AoE spells have been used. And by that point, 3 or 4 of his teammates are generally
so many sentries.
It's
a 3.
He's got Aegis. He doesn't care. They're going to lance him once, but Boboka is just sitting there up on the high ground, ready to go.
Yeah.
They'll take the bottom tower now. That is the second to last outer tower.
Oh, what a tangled web they weave. They try to ensnare the Clinks, but really he's just too massive at this point. Like, unless he's diving tier 4s, he's indestructible.
It's that character in Watchmen who yells out, "You're not in here with me. I'm in here."
Yeah, Rorschach.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's what it is. Clinks turns around, pulls a Rorschach, take the mask off of him.
Feels that way for sure. So they are locking the base down right now. Clink's rotating over towards mid. I think he's taking some pot shots. It's going to go to work with the strafe now. The Age is still in line. Glyph comes out. Ravage not quite ready yet. 30 seconds to go on that. But they're going to try to break the base anyway. That's how far ahead they are. They don't even care about having one of their biggest ultimates good to go, and they will throw everything at the Clinks. Can they burst them down even the first time? Looks like they might be able to. At long last, they just will crack, and Chen dropped low. The Diffusal Blade is working its magic. Can they actually turn this one around? Has IG gotten a bit too greedy here, not having the Aegis? They're going to lose the Clinks as well.
God!
2 are down. The dream is not far off, but only need 2 more kills here, and iG.Vitality to complete it, and the Diffusal Blade chase continues in earnest. Wrong could be next. He's purged up. He's likely to fall at this point. Can they lock him down? Blow him up? They turn. There's the finger. That's what the Doctor ordered to salvage the fight a bit for the Vitality boys. Now the Tide walks back in. They get 3, looking for the Tide, the 4th kill perhaps in sight. They're also hunting Boboka. He turns again. He's cut the Anchor Smash. They're not able to finish him off quickly, but they slowly plink away at him. Looking to isolate him. The Undying will circle around through the trees, goes and tries to retreat, but nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Punched into the next game. They will get 4 kills, and they hold the racks.
What's that fight recap like? My goodness gracious, they're going to have so much freaking gold after that.
4,000. The Clinks alone was almost 900. The Clinks was like 848 or something like that. So the Clinks gave massive gold because he had this Wicked 6 streak, but across the board, 4,000 gold, 7 gone for Vitality.
That's the Diffusal Blade in action, and that's also not waiting for the Ravage.
Yeah, no, it's 100% the Ravage. It's hubris from iG.V. They could have played this 30 seconds slower, and they wouldn't be in this position at all. But they go in without the Ravage. They don't pop a Clarity on the Tide and say, okay, wait 30 seconds. They wanted to go then. One creep wave. One creep wave they could have waited, but no, they go. They say the Aegis is still up. We want to use it. And in doing so, they commit themselves to a position that CDEC actually could exploit.
Well, and the two things that stood out to me there also was, one, the Tusk actually being able to make the Ice Shards work to keep the Clinks out of the fight after the Aegis gets popped. If he runs back into there and is able to get on top of the PL, maybe you don't burn enough mana away. And then after the fact, because of that play that they ended up making, you have, oh goodness,
they're on the move again. Boboka's going to run right in. He still gets off the one hero stun here at the beginning of the fight. The quick grave on September as they move forward. Backing off is the Clinks. QD trying to retreat. Force Staff trying to turn. Oh, just destroys the Tuskar. Looking for another here. Can he get the double? No. The Venge is brought down, and now QD's in danger again with the Blink Studs, but where's the Tidehunter when you need him? Looks like he's too late to the party. The Greaves come in at the There's the Ravage to turn it around. September has to back himself out of here, and now the Razor arrives. Clinks gets angry and gets aggressive. Can they finish off Flyby ever so low? 28 HP, almost dead to the Plasma Field. They're going to hunt for a follow-up. Why Chen? One last auto take gets the job done. Into the trees they go. XXS. Making things very interesting.
I mean, again, even without the Wicked 6 streak, the gold would have been massive if they got the clicks there. The Guardian Gree is perfect. The Ravage, amazing. I mean, yes, they walked into it since, obviously, in this kind of game, you have to know when Ravage is up, when Ravage is down, the risk you run into. But they wanted that kill so bad. And
I don't think you can even fault them for going for that. They were so incredibly close. Getting that kill is absolutely massive. It's just one of those buzzer beater moments. That hurts.
Over the past 4 or 5 minutes, it's now been a 5-2 kill spread. I mean, as far as Avengers are coming back into this game, it's really impressive. And I still think that iG.V are still so far in the lead. But if you keep on getting a couple more plays like that, Clinks does have BKB now, which makes it more difficult.
Does he?
Yeah, he just got it.
Yep. Clinks
oh, so he did not complete the data list then?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. But we do have the blink up on Tide. It's starting to feel like they're taking the items now that are going to bring them back into this again and just sort of put the nail in the coffin.
Crazy game. Like, talk about a game that just looked... It was 12-0 at one point.
Yeah, I think it was like 1-18 or something.
Like you said, it's still in iG.V's court. They have really good team fight. I think at this stage they have solutions for PL, but 1 or 2 more bad fights, and suddenly... This is a completely wide open game. And they're going to try to slow things down. It looks like cooler heads have prevailed as they're going to rotate on top. They back off for safer items, like you pointed out, getting the BKB, not completing the data list. I think they are realizing this game is throwable, and they're trying to batten the hatches down and avoid that.
Absolutely.
Resisting Twitch chat's throw order as best they can.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't resist. No one can resist the Twitch chat.
Boboka picking up the Force Staff and the Gem too, so trying to double down the vision, just restrict the space that Avengers has to farm at all, and they're going to go back for that last Tier 2 tower, which makes a ton of sense. Roche back up in another minute 15 seconds. I don't expect them to try and take any towers before that. The question is, are they going to be in position to be able to take the Roshan? I mean, Invoker now is an Ags up, so he's going to be throwing those out, right?
Jeez.
He went for an early Midas, quite early Midas. It was like 12 minutes in or so.
Still.
Didn't get it that fast, but yeah, he's quietly been farming up.
Yeah, and you probably just go for, like, maybe Ghost Scepter next. Like, the Finger of Death is kind of annoying with the Ethereal effect, but, like, this Clinks.
Clinks is on the hunt. He gets Flyby, the more important kill. Hexing him and logging him. Now the Finger even committed. He's going to run back into the stun with the Phantom Rush and gets eviscerated in the end. Nicely done there by the Clinks. Elsewhere, hunting on the Victoria. Tried for the big play, Hero Grave. Not able to get the job done, and they do lose 2 again.
This is a civil war right now. You got Hawkeye betraying the Avengers. You got the Hulk smashing. It's really a game of Black Z and XXS. Like, they have done so much. Yeah, the Razor dominated in the mid lane. We're seeing the Lion do more and more with this Blink Dagger, despite a few deaths. But really, it just comes down to the way that Clinks and Tide have executed in these past 10 or so minutes.
Well, and I think that the support play has been pretty immaculate as well by iG.V. Lion jumping in there and getting the initiation off. Because you look at the spread right now, it's only 4,000 gold between the Clinks and the PL, which is massive. But at the same time, if PL doesn't get initiated on like that, all of a sudden you're in a situation where he's able to maybe get away for a second, spawns a couple of illusions, and then you've got the Diffusal Blade going to work. So it's still really important that we do see iG.V get the initiation off, and with the Gem, That's going to be how you do it, I think.
I like when you can see when the Clinks is auto-attacking because the Roche's HP just drops in like giant chunks rather than little bits and pieces. Man, he is farmed.
Back to work in the jungle. That's where he lives now.
Yeah, I mean, the Sentry Observer combo is definitely keeping tabs. Like, this is a very necessary thing. If CDEC.A hadn't been placing, like, those 3 sentries that we saw and the 2 that we see now...
over by now.
Yeah, absolutely. The game absolutely would have been over. And people, especially the lower MMR players that are tuning in, will not understand the real value that creates. But knowing where this Clinks is at, knowing what he's trying to accomplish, where his next assault is going to be, like, that is invaluable. And they are hanging into this game by... their fingernails based on these sentry placements.
Still, it is a tax on the supports, and you can see that in the net worth. All three of the bottom net worth players are on the Radiant side. To go back to the point Gabe made earlier, so it's necessary, like you said, but it is costing them.
Definitely, and now looking to maybe come in at the end here. Roche is about to be back up now if he's not our... Oh, wait, what am I talking about? He already got taken down. That was 2 seconds ago. It's just how quickly they're able to make it happen, and I think that they're ready to
bottom lane
constrict it.
Are they going here on the... Was it the PL there?
We got 3 Wex Orbs on an Invoker that only has 1 point in Wex. Like, is there any real value? I guess the move speed is something, but like, what spells is he actually trying to get out in these fights? Is it actually going to be Meteor Deafening?
They have a couple BKBs. I don't think EMP Tornado really offers you all that much.
Yeah, shortest tornado in the world right there.
Oh, wow, he forced the BKB. That's not too bad.
Yeah, against the Glyph too, he can't do anything.
Not sure he needed to BKB that.
Yeah, like what's the mana to Clinks?
Yeah, he's got the bench swap to help him, the Tide to counter-initiate, but they do get the range Rex already. Now the Tide's going to leap in. The Meatball is there, rolling right over the Clinks. Deafening Blast pushing them back, slowing the fight down, but it seems like they might just have the brute force necessary to at least take this objective. Turning on the Tombstone, it is finally dead. The Sunstrike coming through. Cutie still sticking around. Poison Touch, can they bring him down? That's the Aegis. Can they get him a second time? Now that's the real question. Great placement on the Ice Wall, slowing him down, but the swap is there to keep him alive. They've still only gotten out of this just the 1 Rax. iG.V will have to back in the end, but...
That's the PL Manta right there coming into play. Like, you can't no longer sit in the middle of all of that. The Diffusal Blade, as you were saying, Blaze, even though you're Anchor Smash, they're still dealing all that damage and taking away your mana, and you have to get out of there.
I mean, they still do get the melee in the end, so...
Right.
Yeah. Progress.
It's a victory for iG.V, but CDEC are not giving up without a fight, and I think it's wise that they're respecting the team fight potential there with the PL army builds up. Tombstone's actually been doing a surprising amount of work this game as well, especially considering you're up against the Clinks. It's normally one of the best heroes at killing it.
Well, it sort of harkens back to that single target focus that you have here.
Oh, hello.
We do see.
He's on the hunt. He wants a bit more. They're going to drop down a sentry.
They can't respond to it,
They
though.
have no answer for this. One finger, almost two-shotting him with that, but is barely able to survive.
Yeah, can't TP, though.
Brave, no TP, and they will grab a second kill.
I mean, he could, but then he'd just be lioned.
Oh, man, oh, man. This is...
It's so hard to leave the base right now.
Yeah.
They have absolutely no vision. If they don't leave the base, they probably risk that 5-man for a second lane of Rax.
Yeah, they
Rock in a hard place.
Like, they're able to defend, but it's not really anywhere outside of the base in terms of taking a fight, because if you get any type of separation, Clinks is on top of you just like that, and it doesn't matter. Eventually, you're going to run out of places to go with the sentry wards, and I don't know. It feels to me like they're fighting a losing battle here. As long as we do see iG.V play this out smart and safe.
This could be the second lane of Rax, maybe the game and the entire series. iG.Vitality, they've come out guns a-blazing. BKB committed just to bring down that second melee Rax top. They've now split the CDEC base wide open, forced to commit. The snowball goes in deep, but the swap is going to drag the Tusk even farther back, where he starts giving some damage away to Wei-Chen. Kept alive by the Grave for now. The Meatball rolls over the top of the fight. They will get the Venge here, it looks like, and Wei-Chen does have to TP away. No cancel.
Close. The cold snap was very close.
Another melee Rax.
Yep, and that's just they needed more in terms of when they were returning damage. As soon as you just pop the BKB, guarantee the Rax death, and walk away, like CDEC.A are losing and in a losing position until they get some kills back. That was without Ravage cooldown. They just go in quick because they know they can. And Mjolnir is actually got a choice, not an AC.
Interesting. I thought it would be AC for the siege, but gives them another way to deal with the PL illusions.
Interesting.
And you'll actually note that despite the Ghost Scepter on the Tusk, he dropped down very quickly and he had to be Shallow Grave. So a little bit more lightning magic damage flying about, hitting any ethereal targets. Like, sometimes you see a Clinks go for like a Diffusal, just purge off Ghost Scepters. In this case, you just hit somebody else and you still bring them down to critical HP.
What do you think the Invoker is going to go next? He's got 3,400 gold in the bank on top of his Aghanim Scepter, as well as that Force Staff. Is there anything in particular that you really like here? Is it time to go for a Ghost Scepter of himself, or do you try and go for a Sheep Stick?
I just feel like there's no item he can get that's really game-changing right now.
Yeah, I thought the Ghost earlier, but since he went for the Blink, maybe like a Shiva's or something. Wait, didn't he already have one?
I guess he bought the Blink and then sold it.
Must have. Like, I definitely got it at some point, but
yeah,
not a big deal.
Very odd. Shiva's Guard maybe going to be the item next for the Tidehunter. I feel like that's great against PL, being able to slow down that attack speed consistently.
And the illusions don't have much HP to work
just
with
more
right now.
AoE, yeah. It's really nice.
Oh, this could be like the game-winning fight right here.
They're just marching from low ground to high ground. The Tornado Meatball combo committed, but again, it's Boboka getting the jump. Clinks just critting his way right through the entire CDEC squad. Now the finger committed. Can they bring down any more? Victoria on the way out of this one. They have bought back the Invoker, tried desperately to hang on, but it's just too easy for the Clinks to get these kills, and they'll grab a fourth, even with the Invoker buyback. To little avail, it would seem. And with that fight, might be the third lane of Rax in the game.
I mean, it's 9-30. Like, at this point, it's all cute and good being able to do it, but again, it harkens back. You can't take a fight outside of your base, and you can't even leave your base to go on over towards the secret shop.
Are they even going to slow roll this? No, they're not. Up to the high ground. Here we go. Strafe is activated. Clinks is going to march away. And the Mjolnir is now complete.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's a first for Clinks, but very interesting pickup.
It's probably like the second. There's definitely one guy who did it already.
Oh, I mean in competitive.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Brian, hit us up.
Give us those sweet stats, man. How many times has Clinks built Mjolnir before for 500?
What is 0? 0.
Could you spell that, please?
I'm sure it's the second time.
Aghanim Scepter up on the Razor. Seems pretty good to me. Do you ever think about throwing on the Aegis to him, or do you just always throw that to the Clinks?
I mean, before when the Eye of the Storm had persisted through the Aegis death, then it was really good, but now it's not really relevant.
Tornadoes there. Beautiful catch. On to 2. Actually 3. I think I got the Tidehunter. Then the EMP comes out, but through it all, as the lag persists, the Clinks just keeps on killing everyone. Razor doing a decent amount of work as well. And Spotty on the run. 2 shots. Another kill. GG. That might have been the biggest Clinks I've ever seen.
Massive.
And
absolutely massive.
There are just no characters that can describe how badly we beat the crap out of you, CDEC.A, says XXS.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
He's built, so he is the only player to ever have built Mjolnir, but he's done it before. This was his second time.
It's a classic, you could say.
Well, good thing you didn't shop at me there, Blazer. I'd be down a drink.
There's always somebody who's done it before. That's what you gotta learn. Oh my gosh, this Clinks has done it. I mean, he's set another record. First, the only Mjolnir on a Clinks.
Fastest death. So, it just seemed like this series it was just the story of the laning stage. iG.V just crushed the lanes, 2 games, rolled to victory. They are going to have a very tough test ahead of them with LGD coming up, and I do not see them crushing the lanes nearly that hard. Maybe ROTK feeds, but it's not often anyone else is going to struggle like that in LGD. So it'll be very interesting to see how they can do when they don't have that crazy advantage after 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see how LGD addresses the iG.Vitality draft when iG.V have first pick. Because we talked about the triple threat, the Night Stalker, the Earth Spirit, and the Void. With first pick on iG.V, one of those is going to go through, and I'm actually really curious how ROTK addresses that situation.
Yep. That to me seems like it could be the moment, and trying to figure out the sort of way to break that strategy that they've got going for them. It feels to me like offlane is coming back again as sort of the marquee matchup, and how well you do in it is going to determine how well you do throughout the course of the game as well, on top of just basic lane stuff as well.
Really great series. Even though it was very one-sided, that was just a pleasure to watch. iG.Vitality, they had the one slightly bad fight against the PL where they overextended, but other than that, they played very crisp Dota from start to finish.
They're a lot of fun to watch, and I mean, like, under the DK banner, they pulled out some good wins here and there, but like I feel like they're reinvigorated with this new banner, the iG.V roster setup, and they have a lot to prove here. Obviously, they've already shown that they can beat out their big brother Invictus Gaming, but if they can maybe even get one game off of LGD, if not two, they have shown a lot throughout this, and they obviously, in my mind, deserve the second spot in Shanghai Major. We'll see what Newbie has to say about that. Maybe CDEC.A have some vengeance in store for them, but
I love it. It's so good.
That's good. No, I mean, if you're iG.V, I guess even if you lose to LGD, you're just praying that Avenger beats Newbies. So you get you get that matchup once more. It seems like they really have them figured out for now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's going to do it for us, at least at this point in time. We're going to be going back on over into the upper bracket matchup.
I think it's upper bracket finals today.
Yep, that's what we're doing. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait.
Someone's qualifying. Someone is actually going to the major after this next series.
Woo!
Get hype.
Get excited, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of seconds as we take a quick break, but see you guys in a second with more Chinese playoff action.